To the person who asked about how did I know I was a trans woman, my answer to that question is really threefold. There were three times that I thought that I was knew that I was trans, but one time when I finally accepted it. The first time was when I was younger. I was around 12 or 13. I knew something wasn't right, and I knew I wanted to be in women's clothing. I wanted to wear women's clothing and to look like a girl. And that's when I started noticing a lot of dysphoria. I have a lot of dysphoria around my neck specifically, because of my Adam's apple and everything. But I don't know, I started learning some things, some trans things. I guess adult content warning here, but learning how to tuck. I figured out how to tuck on my own without really having the internet honestly ready and available, because at the time my parents still had dial-up, and for anybody who knows what dial-up sounds like, so I didn't have access to the internet. I didn't have much trans media, but something still kind of rang in my mind as just something wasn't right, but I could never figure out what. And then I saw a commercial for Montel or Oprah or the Ellen DeGeneres show. I don't remember which. And it was about a trans boy who had started socially transitioning and was starting to get on microdoses of tea. And the first thought that came to my mind was, huh, you can do that? So you're telling me a girl could be a boy? Could a boy then be a girl? Wait. Oh shit. If somebody else finds out about this at school, I'm gonna get bullied. I'm gonna get teased to the point that I don't know if I'm gonna be able to make it through the day. And so I pushed it down. Yeah, mood, that's it, yeah. So I repressed those feelings for years. And as honestly, I didn't start rethinking, I didn't start having these feelings again until around 23, 24, when I finally came out to a friend and I was just like, oh yeah, I like wearing women's underwear because it's much more comfortable and I just enjoy it. But I don't do that often because, weird, right? And they responded in a way that I didn't expect. They were just like, no, actually totally valid. And I was just like, oh, okay, cool. And as time went on, I thought more and more about opening up about that to the people who I dated, but I always kind of just pushed it down to the point that finally mid-May of 2021, early May of 2021, I guess it was, I was sitting in my bedroom / office at the time on my PC. I think I just got done watching, shout out to a streamer here, Yojo and Avinnus, or maybe Avi. It might have been Avi. It was somebody from the Nook at the time. Almost guarantee that it was Avi, thinking about the time of the day. But so shout out to Avinnus as well. Fantastic streamer. But I was sitting there and I was just kind of just going through stuff, and T came into the bedroom and she saw my face and was like, hey, are you okay? And I kind of my response to her generally was, yeah, I'm fine. I'm just going through this once every 4 to 5 years. I have a bit of an identity crisis. I'm thinking about what my sexuality is. I don't know. Am I gay? Am I bi? Am I pan? I can't be a lesbian because I'm not a woman. But if I knew what I know now 10 years ago, I think I would have taken steps to become one. And T just looked at me with that face of just you want to think about that? She didn't say anything. She just kind of looked at me, and I looked at her eyes, and all of a sudden I was just like, well, I have a lot of things I need to talk about, and I need to find a therapist. So I spent a lot of time oh fuck yeah, I spent a lot of time on the internet looking up various stories. I think this is kind of the topic that I talked about a little bit, but I looked up what it was like to be a femboy. I looked up what it was like to be a drag queen. I looked up what it was like just to be like a cross-dresser. And then like I was looking up all these stories and like what it's like for these people and how they feel, and none of them like worked for me. Like I didn't click with any of them. And then because let's be real here, I was trying to avoid admitting to being trans. Like that was the first thing. And then I looked up some trans stories, and the first one I found was Abigail Thorne talking about her transition. Actually, she had just released her transition story at that time, and I watched it, and it resonated with me so deeply on a personal level that I got it. I just got it. And I looked up more and various trans people's stories, and a lot. Oh, thank you for the head pats, Autumn. I looked up so many different trans stories, and the common themes that I always saw were: it's never too late, you're never too old, the best time to start is now, and things that lined up with my childhood, which were like wanting to play with the girls, thinking about wanting to be a girl, or like this is not just okay. Let's be here. Thinking about being the other gender, wanting to be with the other gender, like as a friend group, and the idea of, do I want to date them or do I want to be them? Just like trying to sort all of that out took a lot for me to do. And before I even had accepted that, I reached out to my friend who member of the server and member of this community and chat, Raz, and I was like, hey Raz, I think I might be trans, but I'm not honestly sure, and I wanted to talk to you about your story and kind of like see if there's like some crossover, maybe because again, I was doing that whole thing where I was trying to be like, no, I'm not trans, that's not who I am, I hashtag still cis though. And we talked about a lot of things. I shared the whole Oprah thing, and she was like, God, I remember watching something like that where it was like a trans woman after bottom surgery, and I was just like, yo, what? That was a thing? And like we were both surprised about each other's stories, but there was so much parallel between our two stories that at that point I could no longer deny it. I was trans. So but yeah, like after that I started socially transitioning. I found a therapist. We talked about a lot of things. I started socially transitioning. I came out to my parents during Pride Month, and my mom was very accepting. I came out to them when I first had these thoughts and was just like, hey, I'm going through an identity crisis right now, and I'm not really sure how I'm going to come out at the end, but I wanted to give you all a heads up because I know it can be kind of a shock, but I know you two are very accepting parents, and we have kept a very open dialogue with each other, and I kind of don't want to ever shut you all out. So if I go quiet for a few months, this is why. And so during that time, I was thinking about everything and had a conversation with Raz, and then I finally came out. I first came out to Raz. I first came out to T, and then I came out to Raz, and then I came out to a couple friends, and then I came out to my parents. And my mom was super accepting. I will say that's the one thing that I have had that has been very lucky on my end, is that my mom has been very accepting. My dad, it's not that he's not accepting, it's just he could be better. Like, he will call me by my middle name, like the nickname for my middle name that I've chosen for myself, which is Ash, because it's like a very gender neutral term. Because that was like my deal. Like, I've got Cat as like the name that I prefer, and then I've got Ash as like a gender neutral name to make it much easier for my grandparents and everybody to call me by. So that way, like, it's just a lot simpler. And then at first, like, I was like gung-ho on she, her, but like I watched a Jubilee Titan of Joy video, and she talked about how why she uses she, they pronouns, and like that resonated with me, and I was just like, I thought about my gender again, and I was like, yeah. So it's like, yeah, like I'm girl most time, but like there's sometimes I feel that like masculine side a little bit. Not a man, but like, you know, I kind of want to be like just kind of non-binary. So, hey Jamie, welcome on in. You found a great time to come in. You feel this? Yeah, I'm going through chat now. But that was pretty much my trans journey. And then what got me onto HRT was my therapist finally asked me if I'd be willing to go on, like if I would be willing to start HRT. And this was 6 months into therapy. So I guess timelines are not matching up here. I had my gender crisis in February and then started therapy in February, late February. And then in January, February, March, I spent a lot of time thinking about my gender. April, I talked to Raz, and like, you see, the timeline for me starting to question my gender to when I finally accepted it and came out to like some people was from February to June. And during that time, like I was talking to my therapist, I was starting to socially transition, I was wearing more feminine clothes, I started buying dresses, I started buying clothes that like made me feel more feminine, I started getting manicures and pedicures, I started like growing my hair out, I started shaving my face way more often, started learning how to do makeup, and just like all that stuff. And I bought breast forms, which like I had put on a bra before and I didn't quite feel the gender euphoria, but goddamn did I feel that gender euphoria as soon as I put that breast form on and had a bra on as well, and I saw my body. The best gender euphoria I could ever have was seeing my body with tits. That's what did it for me. And so yeah, like it's just now I can feel the tears coming. But in like mid to late August, my therapist, well, I guess it was early to mid August, my therapist finally asked me, hey, have you ever thought about getting onto hormones? And it was right at the time that I had also started looking into it, and I was like, yeah, I've been thinking about it. And she asked me the question of, would you start now? And I froze, and I was just like, I don't know, like, I'm scared to, because what if I don't like it? What if I've been faking it this entire time? So like, I spent a month thinking about it, because at the time I was doing therapy like once a month, and then I think by the second week I had already scheduled my appointment for HRT, and I gave my, like, I was still nervous and I was thinking about it up until that point, and then I finally came to the conclusion that if I get on HRT and I start small, I can always stop whenever I feel uncomfortable, or if I feel like this is not who I am. And that was kind of like, that was my mindset whenever I went in. And like, I'd done a lot of research, I looked up a lot of the side effects of like HRT and everything like that, and when I was told, yeah, we can start you today, on September 10th, I was told, you can start today, and I about cried. Like, I was just like, yo, what? I was so ecstatic. And I didn't start until the next day, which I didn't think about it. Don't do the math of the day after September 10th. Yeah, that's the mentality I've had on HRT, and I've never looked back. So if you're scared about, this is mostly male to female. I don't know how female to male transitioning works all that well with testosterone. I know testosterone has some different side effects and some that are more permanent, such as your voice. But for male to female, if you're hesitant and you're curious, I say give it a try. Because here's the thing, cis men don't ever think about taking HRT, and the idea of taking estrogen would be revolting to them. So also, hi Nova, welcome on in. So yeah, and again, the thing about HRT is you start on the pill, which is significantly cheaper than the patches, but you start on like a very small dose, and then you slowly increase it. But if you, at any point in time, your body and yourself are telling you this is not for you, you can just stop. You always can. So yeah, that's pretty much my trans journey, my HRT journey. I've been on HRT now for 2 years. I've been enjoying who I have become, and I've been having a good time. So hopefully you can take something from this. Hello again, thanks for watching the video, and I hope you really liked it. Please subscribe if you haven't already to see more videos like this in the future, or watch the most recent video. Thanks for coming in today, getting cozy, and I hope to see you around the cafe again soon. Have a wonderful day. Bye!